empty. All right, so today for practice, you're gonna need something like this. So I've got a yoga block. Get something that's like a yoga block, get a stack of books that's about yay big. You're gonna need something like this, maybe even a little bit taller. A pillow will be okay, that'll work, but you'll wanna have something like that. So sit up on something just because it's easy on the hips. We're gonna do a little bit of, just kind of working out some stiffness. Just start to roll around like so. Just shifting around, loosening up your hips. And then start going in the other direction. And then there's a way that you probably cross your legs that's most comfortable to you. I want you to switch and cross your legs the other way. And then start rolling around in circles again. And then start rolling around in the other direction. And when you feel like you have a sufficient amount of weirdness in all directions and at all angles, start to come back to the center and either fold your legs in the comfortable way, or if there's a different way that you would like to sit that would make a little more sense in your body, go ahead and go there. Those folks who are new, hi, I'm April, and I am a recovering control freak, and I will probably be trying to recover from this. I hope I will at least try to be recovering from this for the rest of my life. Because it's this constant process that we go through, trying to find ourselves in a state of surrender. Trying to accommodate this. Hold on a second, I want to make sure hi, okay. I got a notification, I was making sure it's not weird. So trying to come into this place where we are okay not having to control everything that we go through. Because there's like a comfortable place, right? Like the comfortable way that we cross our legs, and we would like most things to stay in that comfortable place. But it just so happens that there's like another way to cross the legs, and that there are other situations that we find ourselves in where it's not quite so comfortable. And we try to resist that space, and it doesn't work out so well. And also, we do not grow and we do not thrive, honestly, in the comfortable place. It's like spending the rest of your life in the favorite part on the couch. It just doesn't work that way. And when we're faced with these uncomfortable moments, we start to get this like shieldedness to us, right? Like, I don't know if this is the place I should be going into. And it gets scary and we get stuck there. But when you're able to open up in this space, and instead of be like, oh, I don't know about this, just be like, come at me. Come at me, universe and weirdness and all kinds of 2020 and beyond nonsense that is existing in my life. Okay, I'm ready. And maybe I'm not totally ready, but I'm gonna fake it till I make it. We're gonna be opening up in the heart space, trying to get into that kind of vibe today. And very much a surrendering open in the heart space, not peeling back into wild back bends, but releasing in this space. I'll start with face brushing. Take your index finger and your thumb together, the squishy spot at the bottom of your thumb. Bring that to the center of your forehead. Brush outwards towards your temples a few times. And then brushing from the sides of your nose out to your temples. From the temples down to your chin, along your jawline. And from the sides of your nose down to your chin, along your laugh lines. And take your fingertips underneath and behind your ears. There's a soft spot back there. And above the soft spot is a little bony spot. And if you lift up on your head from that point, it can feel quite nice. And stay lifted from that point as you take a big, deep breath in. Oh, words are hard. Everybody exhale. Set your hands down in your lap. Feel your heart space softening. You deliberately drop your arm bones down. Maybe you deepen your breath, feeling that expansiveness in your chest. And the muscles that are right underneath your collarbones, can you relax those too? Wiggle your jaw out a little bit, let your throat be soft. And we'll begin practice releasing the sound of Om 3 times together. And you're welcome to breathe or not make a sound, or maybe you have like this really awesome death growl you're going to take the opportunity to release. Let's start with a big breath in through the nose and then big exhale through the mouth. Again, like that. For 3 Oms. To open your eyes, we're going to take this block or maybe a couple books, maybe you grab a pillow instead. We're going to take this right up kind of by the front space of your mat, set your cushion aside, and you're going to put this block underneath your middle rib cage, so right underneath where that bony point is in your shoulder blades, the part where they come together. You want to line that up on your block. I'm going to go with lowest setting here. So if you have a stack of books, you might even go with a shorter stack. And then take your hands behind your head. If your shoulders are cranky, I want you to turn your elbows up. If you're feeling a little bit more frisky, open the elbows out, and you're going to let your head rest back. Now you can use your hands to support your head and try to relax your neck. And then there's the golden rule of prop usage. If you feel like something is in the wrong place, you are probably very correct about that and you should move a little bit. So maybe you have to wiggle up or wiggle down a little bit. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths here. Let's say 3 more deep, long breaths. And you're going to try to soften something every time you exhale. 2 more like that. Inhale. Soften as you exhale. Inhale. Soften as you exhale. And then you're going to turn everybody, your elbows up. If your legs were extended, place your feet on the floor. You're going to draw your belly back and then curl your elbows up, sit up, and come off of the block. You can set this off to your side. We're going to come into bound angle or Baddha Konasana, knees open and feet together. Wiggle a little bit side to side. And then you're going to take your arms and reach them up. Now relax your inner shoulders. So my arms are still up, but my neck isn't so tense. Take another breath in, lift up a little bit more. And then take this into a side bend up and over to the right. So I'm going to take the right hand down, bend the right elbow as much as I have space for. Soften this inner shoulder. Drop the hip down, reach the fingertips out. Big breath in. Big breath out. 1 more breath like that. And then lift yourself back up to the center. And then we're going to take this up a little bit higher as you breathe in. Exhale, side bend over towards the left. And then you'll take the hand down and bend into the elbow as much as is reasonable on your body right now. Relax the outer armpit forward, soften the inner shoulder. Drop that right hip down. Reach out through the fingertips, breathe in. Stay there, exhale. One more big breath in. Big breath out. And then take yourself back up. And take the fingertips up, lift your heart up to your fingertips, and then pull your elbows back. I'm going to pull them back, let the heart lift up. Big breath in. Exhale. And take your hands down behind your back. So just behind you a little bit so that you can bend your elbows back, lift your heart up. So from this side, I'm here, slowly pushing that heart up into the front of my rib cage, wrapping the elbows back. And one more breath in. Exhale, soften, and then reach your arms up again. I'm going to pull the elbows out wide, those cactus arms once more. And it might just feel a little bit different. Take a big inhale. Exhale. And then you'll take the hands down and forward. Draw yourself into a little fold over your legs. Let your lower back be soft. Don't worry about trying to get your nose onto your feet. Just let your body drape forward and relax your back. One more round of breath. And then start to pull yourself up. We're going to go back to having a block or a stack of books or maybe a pillow. You're going to put it underneath your hips in between your feet. So I'm going to sit back like this. Now you can set this up higher. You can stack more books on top of it. Sometimes the middle setting feels a little bit better. You might have to squish your calf muscles back so that you've got enough space to be able to just stack yourself hard up above your hips. And then we'll take the arms up again. Soften the inner shoulders. Lift your heart right up to your fingertips. Big breath in. Exhale, side bend over towards the right side. And so now I might not bend into this elbow because I'm reaching up through that left side. Soften your inner shoulder. Big breath in. Big breath out. Come back to the center. We're going to take this up a little bit higher, heart up to the fingertips. Breathe in. Exhale, side bending over towards the left. And then you'll relax that inner shoulder. Let the outer armpit soften forward. Reach out through the fingertips. Both hips drop down. Big inhale. Big exhale. And then you're going to lift yourself up. What we're going to do from here is take one foot. You're going to uncurl it so that the foot is down. You're going to walk your fingertips back. Now, probably your tailbone is pointing down. I want you to do a little scooch so that your tailbone points forward. Yeah, it's okay if the block's a little weird because now you're going to lift up off of it. It's a big stretch to the front of that thigh that's on the ground. See if you can lift your heart up a little bit more. And then soften your hips back down. Be mindful the block and the books might be a little weird. And you'll switch towards the other side. So I'm going to take this foot back. This foot comes up and forward. Hands are back. I do a little shift of tailbone towards your knee instead of towards the floor. And then start to lift your hips up. Now lift your heart up. Big breath in. As you exhale, stop and back down. Oh, a tickle in my throat. And then come back with both feet. Adjust yourself on the blocks as much as you need. Reach your arms up. Heart up straight to your fingertips. Exhale, bend those elbows, pull them back. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend the elbows, pull them back. See if you can lift your heart up and forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, open those elbows. Do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach the arms up again. And then you're going to curl your belly back and reach your arms forward, round your spine. This should be a little bit hard. It's a little easier up here. So if your back is hurting, I want you to take your hands up a little bit. Draw your belly back, reach your arms forward. Try to soften your inner shoulders. One more breath in. Exhale. And then take your hands down. We're going to come up onto our hands and knees. Now, this block or stack of books, whatever you had, go ahead and set those off to your side. We're going to be on our knees for a little bit. So if you need to fold your mat over or grab something squishier, depending on how your floor is, you'll come there. And then you're going to bring your hands at least a handprint further forward. And we're going to do a really weird version of cat-cow today. It should be a little bit more core work. So I really want you to focus on how much your belly is pulling you through this. We'll start. Exhale, pull the belly back, round your spine, reach your hands forward just like you were when we were seated. And then inhale, come forward, lift your heart up. Exhale, round it back, really curl it back, reach your arms forward. Inhale, heart lifts up and forward. Exhale, round it back. Inhale, heart reaches forward. 3 more. Exhale, pull it back. Inhale. Exhale. This is the work when you pull back and then the heart frees itself, comes forward. I can't count. Do it one more time. Exhale. Inhale. And then we're going to pull back a little bit further into child's pose. So widen your knees, draw your hips back, rest your forehead. If your shoulders are cranky, bend your elbows. If you can, though, try to wiggle those fingertips out a little bit further and then soften your inner shoulders. It's fine if your hips are not back at your heels. Your child's pose might look more like this. That's good. That's your body. That's where you are. Now, I want you to start putting a little bit more heat into this child's pose. Can you curl your belly back just like you were in that core work, in that seated position? Feel the back of your heart opening up. And then sometimes we think of like our bodies a little bit more like a two-dimensional drawing, caricature sort of thing. Your heart is not just in the front of you. The strong, courageous space surrounds that area of your body. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. And start lifting yourself up. We're going to come up into our hands and knees. Take a hand, shake it out. The other hand, shake it out. Then you're going to spread your fingertips out. Push down into your hands so the back of your heart lifts up. And then you're going to lift your hips up in a downward facing dog. And you can take just a beaten down dog and then come back to table pose. That's absolutely okay. Wiggle around your tail. Try to let your head relax down. Maybe your hips float up a little bit more. Big breath in. And then exhale, lower your knees back down. We're going to take the right foot up to where the left or right hand was. And you're going to wiggle that foot a little bit further forward and take your arm up in the air. I'm twisting over towards this leg. Could be up on fingertips here. We're going to reach your heart into both of your hands. Exhale, soften your belly. Big breath in. Exhale, soften your belly and your heart. Maybe you can open the heart a little more. One more round of breath. And then you're going to come down to sit on your left hip, and you kind of swivel around and put your ankle on your knee. Apparently I'm feeling a little fancy today. We've got many changes in direction. So my ankle's on my knee and I'm hanging out here. I might come up to fingertips and reach my heart up more to my shin. Might be more like here. Maybe I get in really close if I've got that kind of space. And then when I feel resistance, because I promise it's going to be there, right? Like something's going to be resisting this. Can I breathe into that space? Can I release that resistance? Like trying not to let your body run away with the story that you're just really tight. Instead, telling your body, no, it's okay. I mean, we can be tight right now, but it might loosen up if we allow it. Big breath in. Big breath out. Then I'm gonna unhook this knee, roll myself back over onto the hands and knees. And then you're gonna take your left foot forward where your left hand was. You're gonna wiggle it forward a little bit more, want a little bit of space between your legs. And as you take your left arm up in the air, and you might be on fingertips here, pull your left hip back, reach your heart into both hands, and that'll expand you across the collarbones. Every inhale, reach out through those hands. Every exhale, soften your belly. Whew. And take one more full round of breath. Soften that belly as you exhale. Maybe surrender the heart more open. And then you're going to roll over onto your right hip. Little human knot tying action here as you hook that knee up over, or ankle up over your knee. Now this is a lot, being close like this. So you open it up if that's where your hips should be. If you are feeling a little bit more bold in your hip stretching endeavors today, try to get up nice and close. And try to lift your heart up towards that shin. Holy moly. One more big breath in. Feel something soften when you exhale. And you're going to release that leg. Take your hands, shake them out real quick. Flick water off of your fingers. And then you're going to come into downward dog. I'm going to face this way because I need that space. Okay. It's just going to press your hips up and back. Push from the back of the heart into your fingertips. Broaden the fingertips. Relax your head. Relax your heels. Inhale, push the floor away. Push those hips up high. Exhale, relax heels and head again. One more breath. Now you can lower your knees if you like, or you can roll yourself right out into plank pose, and you can be on your knees in plank pose and still be strong. You're going to reach the shoulders to the sides. Good. If you've got the legs up, reach the heels back behind you. And then you're going to lower to your belly in as many pieces and as gracefully as you feel inclined to do. Good. And then when you get down there, and take your elbows out in front of you. You need to do a couple of wiggles. It's going to be awkward. You're basically going to paw your elbows forward. So they want to be about shoulder width or a little bit less up than shoulder width apart. Put your palms together and you're going to drop your forehead down. Now, as you pull your thumbs back towards your head, you might be able to wiggle those elbows out a little bit more. Now, I want you to push your palms together. I'm pretty sure this is now the peak weirdness for this practice. I think I just threw all of the weirdness in as we began. And can you feel that expansion behind your heart and behind your armpits as you press your palms together and pull your thumbs back towards your head? 3 more breaths. And then when you're done, release your hands. Come on up. You're gonna take the arms back now. Interlace your fingers. And I want you to press the tops of your feet down into the floor. You're gonna bend the elbows so your elbows point up. You're gonna keep pressing the tops of your feet down into the floor as you extend the arms, reaching your hands behind you and your heart forward. Good. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. Now let the feet fly up and see if your heart flies up a little bit more too. Now one more breath in. Exhale, relax the heart open. And then come on down. You're gonna unwind your arms, rest a cheek or a chin. I'm gonna go up one more time, Shalabhasana, locust pose. Reach the arms back, bend your elbows, start that way. We're gonna take the elbows back, and then as you straighten the arms, reach the knuckles back, let's go ahead and lift the feet, reaching out through the toes. Take a big breath in, feel your heart open up, and then exhale, soften the heart to let it open more. And then if you like, you can free your hands from each other, but you have to keep your fingertips active. Take an inhale, open your heart. Exhale, soften the heart, feel how that changes. And then lower it down. You can rest the other cheek and wiggle your hips around a little bit. We're gonna work our way back to downward facing dog. We're gonna do a transition up from downward facing dog. It can be a little bit wonky. If your foot doesn't get where you want it to be from down dog, you just stand up, wiggle it around, and you get into warrior one, how back you come. I just wanna give you that little heads up while you're on your belly, not doing anything too crazy. Let's push up off of our bellies, lift your belly up, push the floor away, and then press back in a downward facing dog. From which place you are still pushing from the back of your heart into those hands, relaxing the heels and the head down, floating the hips up. Now bend your knees a little bit, look forward. You're gonna take your right leg and you're gonna pull that knee up to your nose and maybe put your right foot where your right hand was. Maybe it gets here, and that's when we just move the things. Put the left heel down, come on up to warrior one. Fix your pants and your ponytail, whatever's going on there. Now I want to have a good amount of space in between my legs. I want to lean a little bit forward here, giving the lower back a little freedom. Inhale, reach your heart up to your fingertips. Exhale, pull those elbows open. 2 more. Inhale, reach it up, heart to the fingertips. Exhale, pull those elbows open. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Now stay here. Let your elbows rest forward, your hands rest back, and let your heart float up. You be strong in your feet and soft from the heart upwards. So maybe even your eyebrows can be soft. And then you consider whether or not you're still breathing. Good. The hands are like, bleh. Yeah. Just open it up. Big breath in. Breathe out. Inhale, reach those arms up again. We're gonna take the hands down and then step back into downward facing dog. And you can come into table pose. If you're like, that's way too much of my hands, April, no, thank you. You're gonna come back into downward dog and maybe wiggle your hips around a little bit. And then we're gonna go to the left side. You're gonna look forward, bend your knees, and you're gonna take your knee up to your belly and then your foot forward. And maybe it was like here and you do that and that's all good. You come up to warrior one, maybe fall over a couple times like me. I got my back toes up, my front knee and toe all face forward. Let's reach the arms up. And instead of being back here, because it does pinch into the lower back a little bit, I'm going to rest a little bit forward, just that tiny bit. And I've still got that slight rest forward even as I exhale and pull these elbows back. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, elbows pull back. Inhale. Exhale, let's stay here. I'm gonna let the heart reach out and forward as I soften the elbows back. Maybe let the palms fall back a bit. Strong feet and foundation, so that we can let the heart and the eyes be soft and adaptable. One more exhale. Reach your arms up. We're going to take them down and step back in a downward facing dog. It's our last down dog until the end of practice. So notice how it might have changed since we began. Bend and wiggle things. And then in as many steps as it's going to take, you're going to bring your feet outside of your hands. And then you're going to turn your toes and knees out just a little bit. We're going to sit down into a squat. Now your squat might not be down here. It might be like here. Great, be here. Make sure you're sitting your hips back. If you're down here, you might have had to do a little wiggle. I want everybody to push down into the pinky toe edges of your feet. Press your palms together so you've got your elbows against your legs in some manner. And then press your elbows into your legs so your heart lifts up. Can you soften your collarbone? Oh, there's an exercise in weirdness. Mind over matter. I didn't even know I could relax my collarbones there. Big breath in. Big breath out. Good. And then to come up to standing here, I like to lift off of my heels a little bit to come into a fold. Good. And then bend your knees, roll it up, take your time. Good. Bring your legs in together, and your index toes. I don't know what that is. Your big toes. Bring them together so they touch. You're gonna squeeze your inner thighs together. That's gonna lean your hips just a little bit forward. We wanna open up this space. And then you're gonna take your hands into steeple fingers or Charlie's Angels hands, and we're gonna reach it up. And you're gonna push down into your feet, squeeze the inner thighs, hard up to the hands, and then we'll take a side bend up and over towards the right. Push down more into your left foot. Big breath in. Soften your inner shoulders. Oh man. One more breath in. Exhale. And then take it up. Relax your arms for a moment. I don't know about you, but I feel much taller on this side, even after all of the heart expansive spine stuff we've done. Let's take the arms up again. Like those little Charlie's Angels shooter gun situation. Press the feet down, squeeze the inner thighs up, get taller, and then side bend up and over towards that left side. And you're pushing down more in the right foot now. Softening your inner shoulders as best you can. It's a constant dialogue. Yeah, the body's like, yeah, I'm already here. And you're like, I mean, really, we're much more comfortable here. So let's try that. Inhale. Stay, exhale. And then come on up and release your arms down. And I take the feet out wide. You have a block around. I will warn you, you might want it on the inside of your right foot. If you wanted to have anything like that around, you just kind of have it there for a thing we might do, that we will do, that you might want there. But it'll be okay if you don't have it. I'm gonna turn your toes out. Your left toes turn in, and we're gonna come into warrior two. Inhale. Lift your heart up. Exhale, soften those shoulders down. And keep the shoulders relaxed. Come into peaceful warrior. Or the glorious rock star pose. You just put the horns into it if you want to. And you're gonna lift your heart up to those fingertips and still try to soften this inner shoulder. Good. Big breath in. Exhale. Return to warrior two. Now draw your belly and we're gonna reach forward and feel this thigh pulling back. So you can feel a lot of the sensation, the strength that's going on right here. Keep that reach out more. Take your elbow down And then take this other arm up and over. Now relax your inner shoulder and expand from the armpit out to those fingertips. Don't sink into the shoulder. We're still open. Maybe you're trying to bring these ribs forward a little bit more. This knee isn't doing wonky things. It's still facing directly out that way. Now here's where you might want to have that block down there. I'm going to pivot and twist down until the left hand comes down to a block or to the floor. I would recommend trying to come up onto the back toes. If you're feeling tired, put this knee down. If you're feeling like your balance is weird, if this is your weird knee, just come down onto the back knee. And then you're going to take your left arm up. Oh, that's your right arm. Sorry, I'm mirroring you. And you can stay here twisting this way, pulling that right hip back. Maybe though, you reach the arm up and over your nose. Yeah? So I've got the right arm reaching out and forward and the left leg reaching out and back, and I'm softening the belly. Good. Big breath in. Exhale. And then you'll curl it over towards the left. Go ahead and walk it out into this wide-legged forward fold. Wiggle things. Maybe your head or your hips need a little wiggle. Little bend in the knees. Take it up. And then you might have your block that you move to the other side, or maybe you're just like, I have really long arms and it's fine to put my hand on the ground. That's all good. I've got really long arms. I know how that is. Some people have normally proportioned limbs, so it might be weirder to get your hand to the ground. So let's drop it out into warrior two. This back leg is pretty straight. I know my knee always looks bent. I think I just picked the wrong leggings every single time. Please, left knee faces forward. Inhale, lift your heart up, feel your spine get long. Exhale, soften the shoulders out. Peaceful warrior, tilting it up. Now I just want to think up. I'm not jumping back. I'm expanding and releasing this heart outwards. Good. Softening the inner shoulder. One more big breath in. Exhale, releasing the warrior two. And then reach out over that front leg. So this thigh is pulling back. It's a little bit hard to do. Feeling a little bit of heat building up. And then reach out more, take the elbow down, and then reach this arm up and over. And I'm softening the inner shoulder and reach out. You feel how much longer that got? Like, here's one thing. This is entirely another. This hip pulls to the back foot. Keep that going. Ears out of your shoulders. Big breath in. Exhale. Then you'll curl it down. Your right hand is going to come down to the block or to the floor. Your right heel is going to pivot up, and maybe you go down onto the back knee, and you just take that for yourself if you need it. Give yourself what you need. You might reach the left arm up. And don't just reach the hand up and let the shoulder be forward. Really try to open the shoulder up to the hand. Can you reach into both arms like we did before? Maybe you reach this arm up and over. Now this adds an extra element that's really hard. I'm twisting, I'm working my hips, I'm trying to open my heart, I'm trying to get a side bend. It's super weird. We need to take the arm back up in the air and just enjoy the regular level of twist. You enjoy the heck out of that regular twist. One more exhale. And then we'll curl it over towards the right. Go ahead and open those legs out, wide-legged forward fold. Give yourself a little shake of the head, yes and no. And then we'll bend the knees and take it up. And bring the legs back in together. And then we're gonna take tree pose as our standing balance. We're gonna put a little side bend into the tree poses. So if you wanted to be near something to hold on to just in case, if you want to make sure your bent leg is facing towards whatever that is. So I would be here if I were going that route, yeah? But you're not gonna put your foot on your knee, you're either gonna put it on your calf or it comes up to your thigh. Now real quick, I want you to release that knee out, lift the fronts of your hips up, a little bit more core strength, and then you'll come up into those steeple fingers, the Charlie's Angels hands once more. Now lift your heart up to your fingertips. If you've got one hand on the wall, that's what you've got. You're still lifting heart up to the fingertips. And then you're gonna go up and over towards that bent leg. Now if I fold, I'm gonna crumple. Ugh. I crumple anyway. I wanna reach up and over. Yeah? Woo! Breathing. Oh man, there we go. One more exhale. And then release. Put it down. A lot of people fell and they fell after me. Like, you held it longer. That's awesome. It's not about how long we can hold it. It's what's it like being in this shape, doing this weird thing. That's the purpose of being here. What's this experience like? What's this moment like? Take this leg up, reach the knee out, lift the hips up. Let's take the arms up. Once again, steeple fingers. We call this Vira Mudra in Sanskrit. And you're gonna reach up and over. It's so hard today. Hard up to your fingertips. Soften the inner shoulders. Can you still breathe? I hope so. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then take it up. Put your foot down. A little freedom wiggle here. Okay, good. Done with the balancing. Done with the standing poses. We're gonna come back up towards the front of our mat space. When I come into downward dog one more time, I invite you to really feel your heart pushing into your hands there, and let the backs of your legs open up perhaps a little bit more. The feet underneath your hips. Take an inhale, reach the heart up to the fingertips, and exhale, soften it down. Bend your knees as much as you need. You're gonna roll your shoulders back, lift your heart forward, maybe your fingertips to your shins. And then soften it down, plant the hands, walk the feet back, maybe many walks. Push from the outer armpits down, soften inner shoulders, soften head, heels, let the tailbone float and reach up. Take a big breath in. Big loud sigh. And then softly lower your knees down. Yes, okay, good. I feel like I was forgetting something. Yeah, so we're gonna go into two back bends here. I couldn't remember the first one. The first one we're going to do is a crescent lunge or Anjaneyasana. And I want you to think of the shape of the crescent as going forward, up, and out. It's like this swoop. This energy goes that way, yeah? So yes, eventually it does start going up and back, but first it goes forward and up, yeah? So take your right foot forward. Bring your hands up onto your thigh. We're gonna wiggle this foot as far forward as you can so you already have that energy going forward in your hip. Now bend, put something underneath that back knee. If it's bothering you, just pat it up. Take care of yourself. I've already got the hips going forward. I'm gonna take at least one arm up. You can leave your right hand on your thigh if that feels better to you, or reach the hands up and take Vira Mudra, steeple fingers. Now you've got to push down into the front foot, otherwise everything's just going to dump down. So down to the front foot so you can send your heart forward. And then your heart's going to reach up to your fingertips, which is going to send them up and back. And now I want you to relax your inner shoulders and your throat. Push down in the front foot, lean the hips forward. Reach the heart up towards the fingertips. Exhale, find something to soften. 2 more breaths like this. Forward and up. 1 more inhale. Exhale, soften it down. I'm gonna take your right leg back. Come back to table pose. A little side to side, pat tail wiggle. It's really hard to talk there. You really gotta like soften the throat space in order to allow the heart to open up a little bit more. We'll take the left foot forward, hands up onto your thigh. And you can keep this hand down. That's gonna help support you. It's gonna help your balance. And you can just reach one arm up. That's all good. Do though, give yourself a little bit more space here. So you're gonna walk the foot forward, push that foot down. You should feel all of this start to support you when you do that. And then it's one arm up or both arms up. The hips are forward, heart is up, heart reaches the fingertips up and out. Soften the inner shoulders, soften your jaw. 3 deep breaths. Inhale, expand. Exhale, soften. Inhale, expand. Exhale, soften. One more time. Inhale, expand. Exhale, soften. And then taking the hands down. And pull the leg back and back under the hands and knees. Give a little wiggle side to side. And then you're going to leave your hips above your knees. Just go ahead and walk your hands forward. Let your heart melt down. Just a little fold in the hips. Relax the low back, but still opening the heart. We call this puppy dog pose or heart melting shape. Can you let your heart melt here? Wider elbows or wider arms if your shoulders are feeling cranky. Give yourself a break. You need that. Give yourself what you need. Give yourself what you really need once you get there and are honest and examining yourself. Discover, oh yes, this is what not what I thought I needed or not what I thought I should need, but I just need this. So, two more breaths. And start to walk your hands back. We're going to come up to standing on our knees. So our big final back bend today, Ustrasana or camel pose, which is this expansiveness of the heart out and forward, not just dipping and flipping back. It's opening up all of this space. So I want you to grab onto your block or a book or something about this size, and then curl your toes under. I like to have the toes curled under because it helps to cue engaging your underbutt, which is exactly where you think it is. And that's going to help squeeze the hips up and forward to keep this open. Okay? Now it's okay to relax a little bit there as we get into this. You're going to have your block right next to one of your feet. Pick one, it's fine. I have this hand down here. You could also hold on to your shin. That's going to be deeper. If you want to take it a little bit softer to start off with, you go here. Now we're going to engage that underbutt. Now sending the hips forward. You're going to lift the heart up to your hand, looking up towards it perhaps. Good. Hips forward, heart up, soften your throat. One more big breath in. Exhale, belly pulls back. Coming out of it. And so we practice some of that curling into the belly, just having that intelligence to draw ourselves up from these places, safely caring for ourselves. And then you'll take your block and you'll move it over towards the other side, or just take your hand to the other heel. That's fine. If that's in your range of motion today, all good. And then it's okay to soften here for a bit when you take the hand to that block, nice and easy. And then you're going to start to engage the underbutt, sending the hips forward. Lift your heart right up to those fingertips. And so I'm not trying to go back. I'm trying to expand out and forward, just like crescent pose. And lifting the rib cage up and away from the hips, hard up towards those fingertips. Soften your jaw. One more big breath in. Exhale, draw the belly back. Come back to neutral. We're going to do one more in the center. You're either going to take your hands and put them in the back pockets of your high-waisted jeans, or if you can easily grab your fingertips onto your heels, you can do that too. Probably have to drop the hips back a little bit to do it. Then you're going to engage the underbutt, sending the hips forward. You might also be here, sending the hips forward. And then the heart is going to open up. Try to soften your throat. Let the heart release outwards. Maybe it doesn't have to be caged inside of the ribs. I mean, I hope those body parts stay together for you, but can it feel like it could escape the ribs? One more inhale. Exhale, draw that belly back. You're going to curl yourself up. And then you're going to untuck your toes. Probably take this block and set it back underneath your hips and sit back here. And we're just gonna rest for a moment. If this feels absolutely atrocious on your knees, I want you to just sit somewhere that's comfortable to you. Maybe you extend the legs out in front of you, sit crisscross applesauce. Any of that stuff is okay, but if it's okay for you to be in one of these balanced places, so symmetrical, just nice and stacked. Maybe you put one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And we've been doing a lot of expanding outwards and forwards, and I've been trying to balance this, of course, with space on all sides, but sometimes the back still gets very tight in a heart opening practice. So can you let your body rest into that back space a little bit more? I even like to think of the eyeballs resting towards the back of the eye sockets. There's a purpose, a benefit, and a time to be all outwards, but we still have to rest. We have to be able to come back to that comfortable place that we love on the couch. One more breath in. Big breath out. And then you're going to come into a seat. You can go ahead and slide yourself off. Take that block off to your side. Kind of take the legs out nice and wide. Don't have to be super wide. Take them wide for you. And then you're going to slide the right arm over, taking the left arm up and over your nose space. And we do this many different ways. In this one, I want you to soften in the front so you can really expand the back and maybe even root your left hip down a little bit more. Lengthen the backs of your ears out of your shoulders. Inhale, reach it out a little bit longer, and then take it and curl it down towards this leg. And you might be more like here. If that's the amount that you're twisting today, you might take your legs in closer, or you can try to draw yourself out over this leg and release this hip. Now you might be here. That's great. I'm going to be here because I'm trying not to back off too much. I've been getting tighter. Find something to soften on your next exhale. And then something to soften again on your last exhale in this shape. And starting to take yourself up. So slide the left arm out, reaching that right arm up and over, just over your nose. Relax that right hip down. Reach out, soften that front space, allowing the back to expand. Release the back of your neck, the backs of your ears. One more breath in. Take it forward on your exhale. So you go down over that leg and you might adjust yourself. You might be up here. Be where you need to be where you can breathe. Be where there is sensation, not contortion and torture. Soften on your exhale. One more breath. Soften on your exhale. Start to come up. Taking your hands behind you. Gently lift the heart up and forward and relax your shoulders back. Maybe you bend your elbows to free the collarbones. Feel the heart float up. And the muscles in front of your heart relax. Again, inhale. Exhale. And then you can stay here. Maybe walk the hands in a little bit to work on your stretch here or your stretch here, or the hands start to walk out and forward. And you rest down into this fold in such a way that feels really yummy to you, which might mean that you close your legs if that feels better. Oftentimes wide legs feels better, but your body might be responding a bit different today. Make this a really yummy fold for you. Find something to soften every time you breathe out. Find something to surrender, something to let go of. One more breath. And then start to lift yourself back up. Take your left leg and fold it in. What you're going to do is come into a twist. When you get there, you might need instead to have this left leg going forward. Try though to take the right leg and cross it over, and you want to have both hips down, and that might mean that you grab your cushion and you sit on that. And if this is just like no bueno, you're going to take the bottom leg and extend it out like so. Yes, that's just what you do in order to get your body into this even position. If you can have the bottom leg in, if that feels good to you, great. If it doesn't, you're over there. Having your right hand in nice and close to you, I want you to lift your heart up to your fingertips and then soften your belly while still lifting your heart up to your fingertips. So it's a little bit more expansive in the back, if that makes sense. Less back bendy, more back tall and strong. One more inhale. And then exhale, hook the arm on the outside of your thigh, soften that belly, lift your heart, relax the collarbones. Take the twist as deep as it'll go for you. Continue letting yourself wind in here. One more exhale. We're going to do a little counter twist. You're going to take your hands over towards the other side. One more exhale. And then unwind. I'm going to bring the two legs together, lean forward. Just a quick visit. Starting to take yourself back up. And then we're going to twist the other way. So now you're going to have the left leg on top, and you'll either be here or with the leg extended. And find one of those variations. Left hand is in nice and close. I don't want to lean back. I want to be in straight stacks. Lift the heart up to your fingertips. Now soften your belly and still lift your heart up to your fingertips. Right? So you can feel your head is above your heart is above your hip. One more inhale. Exhale, twist. Catch the arm on the outside of the leg. Lift and open the collarbones. Soften your belly and your low ribs in. Taller every time you breathe in. Softer every time you breathe out. One more round of breath. Start to release or twist. A little counter twist over the other way. And then unwinding your legs. Take the soles of the feet together and draw your body forward into this nice, easy fold. Relax your lower back, soften your legs inside of your hips. Don't worry about how far forward you get, how much you can relax wherever you are. One more round of breath. Start to take yourself up. And we're going to come down onto our back. When you get there, bringing your knees in, you're gonna cross one ankle over the other, reach outside of your legs to hold on to those ankles or shins. Give a little rock side to side. Eventually finding a little bit more stillness, just letting your body be weighted. Even if your hips are nowhere near the ground, I want you to think of relaxing the hips towards the ground, releasing and surrendering them in that way. One more breath. And then switch the cross of your ankles. Maybe start off by rocking around a bit again. Softening every exhale. Take another round of breath. And then unwind your legs. Open your arms out like a T or a cactus shape. Let both of your knees roll over to one side. Whichever side you've rolled over to, the back of that arm, can you press into it and then wiggle your rib cage a little bit more open? So you kind of wiggle the opposite shoulder a little bit softer, get a little bit deeper twist around your midsection. Soften your belly every time you exhale. Soften something every time you exhale. One more round of breath. And start to take your legs back to the center and over into a twist on the other side. And then that back of that arm, just press into it, kind of wiggle the opposite shoulder a little bit more open. And then let your eyebrows and your belly and whatever else you can think of relax every time you breathe out. This constant dialogue of surrender rather than trying to be controlled or rigid, as we are so very rarely successful in that endeavor. You can be strong and still know when to surrender. One more breath. Coming back to the middle. Walk your feet a little bit wider than your hips, knock your knees against each other. Let your arms drop down by your sides. Snuggle the shoulder blades ever so gently underneath the heart. So not pinching anything, just bringing them back there is a little bit of a boost. Letting your heart float upwards. And if there's anything else that you need at the end of your practice, then please go there. Take whatever other moves or shapes that you would feel will finish you off really well. You're welcome to take a seated meditation. Maybe stay like this, or maybe slide out towards corpse pose. Maybe you use the cushion or the block somewhere to support some part of your body, maybe under the thighs, or you put your hat on the cushion. start to come back to your body. Staying soft with yourself, but taking a couple of deep breaths, maybe making some small movements. Excuse me. Coming out from this pose, this offering of surrender. Maybe reaching your arms over your head like a nice good morning stretch. And then rolling over to your favorite side. Turning inwards in a moment of gratitude for your practice. Being able to share this time together. Eventually finding your own version of a comfortable seat. Sit however you like. Maybe you grab something and sit up on it. Bring your hands together at your heart. Letting your heart open. Letting it release out wide and free. We seal our practice releasing one Om together. Big breath in. Bowing down to this love, to the light and the darkness that resides within each of our hearts. Namaste.